So welcome today. This is RaShelle Roberts from getinvision.com, and today I have Ben Lopez with Paper Monkey out of Australia. And I'm really excited, Ben, that you're here on Creative Jam today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And I quickly want to read my favorite part of your website. So sorry if I popped off there for a second. It says, "Indeed, the burning question. We are visual strategists, graphic designers, patient listeners, considered thinkers, inspired workers, dedicated experts, niche specialists, committed individuals, and award winners." How did you come
Uh,
up with that? I love that intro.
so we went through, I guess we found the need to, I guess, like not reposition ourselves in more of a sense, position ourselves for the first time. I guess that most designers, I guess, are realizing, I guess, like in the last couple of years, that it's something that we all really need to do, where before our positioning was, hey, we're designers and we're really friendly and we're good at what we do, and that's it. But so is everybody, and so like there has to be something else that we do, and we have to be able to express that. And so yeah, that is the, I guess, like the distilled version of many conversations that we had here about what it is that sets us apart.
Mm.
We are, as you said, down here in Australia, and we do design and what we call visual strategy. And we specialize in higher education, though obviously we do work for other people outside of that when, I guess, when we see a strategic fit between us and them, and a reason for us to work together.
Mm-hmm.
So we changed, I guess, our offering to be what we call visual strategy, which is exactly that. You're coming up with, I guess, like it's a process and a much more involved way of working with the clients. So they're getting more than just a logo or some piece of design work at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that changes who they are as a client. So like the way that what.
Wait, you just said something brilliant. It changes who they are.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you mean by that.
Well, I guess, in the old days, someone would come to us and say, "Hey, I want to, like, let's use the example of a logo, and I am or whatever, an accountant or whatever, and I've got this great idea, like we're bean counters, so let's have some coffee beans and they're brown, and so as designers we go, okay, and like then our job is to find a cool way to do that, where we like to dig a little deeper and like have these sessions where we involve, not just the guy who's paying the bills, like, because he may be the owner, but the lady who answers the phone probably knows more about the company than he does. And so you involve everybody at all these different levels and sit down and talk with them and have these debates, that make them have these debates with each other about who that company is and what they stand for. And through that, we get what we want, as in, like, we get the information and the juice that we need, but they get something else in that they start discovering either the gold that they didn't realize they had.
When someone has a bird's eye view about your company and gives you, and there becomes a trusting relationship, I think magic happens. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just the expression we use is inside and outside the jar. They're inside the jar. They can't see the label.
Right. I love that you put that as part of what you offer. And so just, I'm certain, and I've heard this, and that's why I say this, is what if a client doesn't want to do that process with you? Have you had that happen?
Well, I guess like, yes, you do, and I guess it's, if someone wants to work that way, then there's no reason for them to be coming to us. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can work with us if you want to, but you can get that from anywhere. You can get that for $99 somewhere else. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is the distinction between going to somebody else, which we know this, I'm just pointing it out. The distinction between 99 logos or whatever it is, and coming to you with a process of understanding who they are, what they're about, and what they're offering. So backing up just a little bit, which is what you put yourself through basically when you started the process when you were in Denver and digging into who you are, what you're about. And that started laying the foundation for this, correct?
Right.
And I recall you saying how that kind of initiated you investigating your vision and how to have a niche, correct? Is that, or give me the full
Absolutely.
details. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. So but like, so I guess like rewinding, jeepers, like 10 years. Like, I had, or no, probably even more than that, so like 14 years. I'd been working in and with universities and higher education in a design sense for that long. And I guess I just saw it as this is okay. This is one thing has led to another. One client has led to another, and that's just how it's happened. It wasn't something that I chose to pursue. It's just that was the work that we were doing for a large part. And then tomorrow maybe the last time we ever do that kind of work, and then we may be working for mechanics or accountants. But I met somebody else in your session and we were paired up and we were talking about this kind of stuff, and she kind of looked at me as if I was, like, why haven't you thought of this before? It's like, why don't you specialize in this kind of stuff? You've been doing it for 14 years. And when she said that, I was like, I don't want to do that. That's the worst idea I've ever heard. Like, I can't imagine, like, for me and the team, why would you want to work on the same stuff, day in, day out? And it wasn't until, I guess, I took that and all of the other stuff that I had to bring back, all the other information that I had to bring back and stuff that we'd learned. And it was probably, I don't know, maybe a year after that everything kind of fell into place. And it's like, like, why haven't we done this? Like, you've got this specialized knowledge. It's, I guess any niche is exactly that it's I guess like a mindset and the way that like industries work, that you, like, say if you're working in healthcare, it's a hard thing to I guess get your head around how it all works, and not like the best ways to do design and marketing in any kind of vertical. We've got so much experience in this that nobody else has, or at least down here. Why not? Why aren't we doing this? And there was no reason why not. It was more a case of, why haven't we thought of this before?
Perfect. That's really great. How do I stand out in a very crowded marketplace? Because there's more and more, obviously, creative. We can get it. It's accessible on the internet everywhere, and this is exactly why. Right here is what we're talking about. This is the nugget of gold. Is what, and this is a question that I pose to anybody who's listening. Is what is that? What is that voice that keeps calling to you? Or what is the obvious that you might be open to hearing now that you haven't in the past?
It is a scary transition, because you hear people use this expression all the time about, it's about learning to say no. Do you know what I mean? But that's learning to say no. That's the easy part. Saying no, like, everyone can do that. It's like learning when to say no.
Learning when to say no. Okay, so learning when to say no.
Yeah. So, like, if you say no at the drop of the hat, then pretty soon you go, oh, I haven't got any clients now. but you need to recognize the things that it can't just be about, does this fit into the specialization that we're doing? Like, there are other factors. Do you know what I mean? Like, something may not, but it could also be something is going to be a really cool job to work on, and sort of, I guess, in the long term, help with your specialization. Do you know what I mean? So that's I guess, learning how different things can, whether things that aren't in our niche, how, even if they aren't in there, how can we use those to further the specialization that we've crafted?
Got it. Awesome. Yeah. So I think that main point here is that you really have to trust your gut and know when to say no, as you're transitioning from not really having a niche to really owning your niche. So that's what you would say to our audience, or whoever's listening, is the nugget is that helped you is really trusting your gut on who to say no to.
Yeah,
and who to say yes to.
And yeah, not just taking that advice that you get all the time, like, learn to say no. Don't take that as a black and white,
right?
Because you also need to learn to say yes.
There's some flexibility there. That's right. So one more thing, what would you suggest for somebody who would want to be transitioning from just taking anything there is to really owning their niche or their voice?
I guess it is hard. Like if somebody says to you exactly that, okay, this is the way of the future. This is the way that you're going to revolutionize your company. Is find your niche and find your specialization. But to a lot of people, they're like I don't know, like what is our specialization? Doing. Yeah, and like when I guess that when you just say that on the surface, like it's how deep do we have to go? Is my specialization like interactive design or is it print design? But it isn't. Like it's got to be deeper than that. So that's kind of scary to people because you think you're like I don't know what is it that I know more about than anyone else. And I think being designers, I guess this is a sweeping generalization, but we're humble folk, and we're quite modest, most of us anyway, and we it's hard for us to I guess identify what that is. What is it that we know, like as in an individual or a firm? What is it that we know and we can do better than anyone else?
Mm-hmm.
And just owning that, and I
Mm-hmm.
guess like identifying that. And I think everybody has something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So like
Oh
once
yeah.
you've been in for some time, there's something that you've got that nobody else has got, and it's not that you're nice, and it's not that you're easy to get along with, and it's not that you're really good at design. It's something much deeper than that, and it's just recognizing what that is.
Absolutely. Love it. A few weeks ago, I featured Ben's calendar on there. And could you tell us a little bit about that? I loved the story behind that.
I guess one of the things that I guess it's important, and I guess like all creatives know this. You got to have something that you do that's I guess fun or inspiring and creative in your life. That's not work related. You know what I
Right.
mean? That you're not necessarily getting paid for. It's all if you're getting paid to do something that you find is like purely art based or creative. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But whether it be painting or playing music or whatever, but I guess when you've got little kids and and a life outside of work, it's hard to find time to do that kind of stuff. So what we do here at the end of each year, we have this year. I guess it's totally I guess like self satisfying creative project that we do which is our calendar. And so this started back, it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, where we had been doing what everyone else does at Christmas. You send your clients, like a stress ball or a bottle of wine, and with the like when I get that stuff, it's nice that someone gave you something, but like how you tell your kids, the best gift to give someone is something that you made yourself, and that kind of thing. So we decided to start doing these calendars
Mm-hmm.
where we, I guess, make fools of ourselves. Yeah, and it is quite important to us to keep those creative juices flowing. That and everybody's involved when we do this. So we like you can't see, but like we've got a sign on the wall here that says the number one rule of this room is there are no rules. So if you got an idea when you're brainstorming, the last thing you want is for someone to be sitting here going like, oh, I've got this. I don't know if it's a good idea, but they might laugh at me. So
Right.
there's none of that. So, you can throw in these ideas that maybe they're not going to fly, but a lot of the time something, if it doesn't, something spins off from that idea. So we got a really cool idea that we're actually starting to shoot next week for the calendar that's coming up this year. So it will be a lot of fun. But yeah,
Okay,
I
so
think that.
that's great. So anybody who's listening that wants to really see what 2014 is your calendar for this coming year can go to. Can you tell us how people can contact you?
You can look at our website, which is papermonkey.com.au, and if you find a section on there called Studio Projects, you see some of the fun stuff that we've done.
Okay.
And and you can also find it like there's a lot of stuff on Facebook, which is more I guess like the behind the scenes type stuff and the how it was made, which is kind of fun.
Perfect. So they can go to your website, and through your website, they can check you out on Facebook and see the progress. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for today. I feel like there was so much. This is really packed with a lot of great nuggets of gold for people who really want to take the next steps or to start their own business. And that's really what Creative Jam is all about, is sharing other creatives' perspective so that we can learn and grow. So this is today's Creative Jam with Ben Lopez out of Australia. Thank you so much, Ben. And just one more time, You can find Ben at papermonkey.com.au. AU. Don't forget that AU. And you can find this creative jam or others at envision.com.